Style here?
You're on.
Really?
How's it going, everyone?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Eben. I don't know, I've met a lot of folks here. I'm, I guess, technically an advisor to the business, which makes me sound extra fancy. But what I do kind of as my day job is I have a company that basically teaches people all aspects of success in their lives, from their personal lives to their business life and so forth. And so Matthew and Brian and I guess, kind of brainstormed and thought it would be fun to just, talk about a few of the different things that we've created programs on, kind of share some of the knowledge that, that we found that help people in their lives and in business. So what we thought would be fun would be to talk a little bit about personality types and how they interact with each other, and how to use some of this knowledge to be more successful kind of personally and in business. So what I thought I'd do is, personality is a very big topic. We just recently did a 5-day program, all day for 5 days, on personality types. And I felt like even in that program, we really just scratched the surface. This is a huge area. So instead of doing, instead of doing a superficial look at a lot of different things, what I thought we would do is maybe dive into just a couple of aspects and learn them, the ones that I think are the most valuable, maybe the most useful. So to start with, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about personality types and why it's interesting to learn about them, why it would be valuable for you. So first of all, what is personality? Is it genetic? Is it something you're born with, can't change? Is it something that you learn later? Can you change it if you want to? My experience is that there are a few kind of main personality systems that have a lot of explanatory power, and as you learn them and you ask these questions and you look behind them, those that are teaching these systems and working with them, they don't really have a lot of foundational knowledge. Right? They were just kind of found by looking at people and looking at the patterns inside of them. Well, modern neuroscience is starting to find that there are heritable genetic links to personality type and style. And so now what we're finding is that a lot of this stuff, we really kind of are thinking now that we are born with a particular personality or a set of personality traits, and that some of these things can be changed over time. But my experience is that once you kind of are born and you're set with certain switches inside, that those really do tend to affect your life. Now, personality is not destiny. Okay? We can change certain aspects of personality. And what I think is the most useful way to look at personality is that it's a set of patterns of thinking, of feeling, and behavior. So it's a set of patterns. It's not just the way that we're wired. And when you think of it as a set of patterns, that allows you to, get a little bit more value from it, make it a little bit more useful. If you start reading a book about personality types, or you start talking to your friends about personality types, one of the easy things to do is to go, oh, look, you're a number 3, and I'm a number 4, and that means that, you're bad at this, and I'm good at this, and then start, making it into, a status thing, and say, here, take this test so that I can put you in this box, and, treat you like a number, and so forth. So that's a danger of personality and personality typing systems, and it's something that all of us go through when we learn about them. And so when we first start reading about introvert, extrovert, for instance, in a Myers-Briggs book, we go, oh, now I understand, you're an extrovert, and that's why you like to always be around people. And then you just put them around people all the time, which, is a little bit, putting people in boxes a little bit too much. The pigeonholing could be, let's just say, problematic. When you think of personality as a set of patterns of thinking, of emotion, of behavior, rather than genetic destiny, it allows you to have a little bit more flexibility in your thinking, allows you to treat people as a little bit more flexible, and then when you learn these personality systems, you don't take them quite as seriously. It doesn't become you're a this and I'm a that. And it also allows you to get a lot more valuable from them. A couple of other thoughts. I would say that, in my own experience now, something like 80% of conflict is predictable. Okay, so 80% of conflict between people is predictable based on personality. So some people, if you put the two of them together and they're working together on a particular type of project, or if they're working together in a relationship, a romantic relationship, or even as friends, when they're dealing with certain types of situations or topics, they're just going to run into problems together because they see the world differently. They literally look through two different lenses in the world. So, for instance, one of the things that we'll talk about in this session is the difference between people who like to judge first and then kind of ask questions later, and people who like to kind of ask questions first and look at all the options and then judge later. Okay, so some people tend to perceive things first and then make judgments, and some people tend to like to make a judgment and then go on to perceive. And if you put these two types of people together, and then, for instance, you ask them to plan something, you're going to run into challenges, because one type doesn't like to make decisions, doesn't like to come to closure, loves to keep all their options open until the last minute, and the other type wants to immediately make a structured plan and organize the situation and then follow that plan. And the tension and the conflict that comes up because these two people don't know that they're dealing with someone of the other type, what's going through their mind is, this person is a whack job. Like, there's just something wrong with them, clearly. And they're both thinking that, kind of subliminally, right behind the surface, thinking, how could someone be this screwed up? But they're trying to, be politically correct and, do all the right things, say all the right things to get the other person to do it their way, rather than realizing the other person has a different reality. They see the world differently, and what they bring to the table actually has benefits, and can benefit everyone. And if we work together with both of our strengths, we're going to make something better than either of us had. So if you take this this idea, or this model, that 80% of conflict is predictable based on differences in personality, what it will start alerting you to is, when you look at another person who's doing something or saying something that just sounds weird, maybe this is because we have different personality. Maybe it's because we see the world completely differently, rather than they're wrong. And when you can do that, it gives you a lot of access to a lot of power. Let's see here. Another thought I want to share here is the idea of what we might call superiority, and becoming superior in life. And I don't mean this like I'm better than another person. I mean it like superior performance. So this company right here is a superior company. The performance of the business is superior, and that has to do with certain external factors, like it's a great industry, in a great niche. Has to do with internal factors like amazing genius founders, great people on the team, and we could go down the list. But superiority, becoming superior in terms of performing, getting results, getting consistent results over time, growing, there's a little bit of a science to this. And one of the things that I've noticed about superiority when it comes to groups, a group being superior, is that the more diverse the group and the more ability that a diverse group has to take advantage of the strengths of all the people in the group and use them together, the more the group can be superior. And understanding this particular aspect, which we're calling personality here, the differences in the pattern of how we think, how we feel, how we behave, how we communicate, is, I think, one of the paths to long-term superiority. Okay, so on the individual level, it's the path because, as I think everybody here sees, that the group is much stronger than any of the individuals, and there's a multiplication factor that comes from all the individuals working together. If you understand what your kind of strengths are, or your type is, and you get comfortable with that, and then you can recognize the strength or the quote-unquote type of others, and then know how you can work together to make things happen, you're going to become much more superior. Right? Because a lot of the games, a a lot of the conflict, the game, the kind of the politics that happen with humans is a battle or a kind of a everyone trying to grab some power, some status, some recognition. Look at me, I'm the one that came up with this good idea. Or trying to set up the situation so that the person has control of the situation, or all these little games that humans play. And a lot of that is just plain not understanding that we are all more powerful if we can recognize our strength, recognize the strength of the other person. So as we develop our comfort with ourselves, our knowledge of our own personality, our ability to accept where we're strong and where we're weak, and as we really look to others and accept where they're strong and where they're weak, and not make them wrong where they're weak, and not get too impressed where they're strong, that's how we can work together and become superior. My good friend Wyatt Woodsmall, and he's a good friend and mentor, he's got a great question. And the question he asks is, how is it possible that other people can be such idiots? Okay, how is it possible that other human beings can be such idiots? And he breaks it down. He actually, one of his books, he was going to call The Science of Idiots. And it was about personality type and different traits. And what it comes down to is, it's not that other people are idiots. Well, some are, but we're not talking about them here. It's not that other people are idiots. It's that they're different in key ways that appear as a complete mystery. Like, it just doesn't make sense that they would behave this way. And the reality is, to them, we are idiots as well in our own ways. And putting on a different set of lenses and being able to look through a lens that says, okay, wait a minute. My inner animal is saying, you're an idiot. Like, what you're doing just doesn't intuitively make sense to me. And having that trigger a little flag in the mind that says, wait a minute, I remember when I feel like this person's an idiot, I should look for their strength and just say, where is it that what they know how to do makes them strong in the world? And then let's use our kind of power together so that where you're blind, I can see, and where I can see you're blind, and we're stronger together. Let's see here. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this system called the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator. Anyone taken the Myers-Briggs test? Half the folks. Anyone here know what your type is and could say it and talk about it and thinks the whole system is really cool? One? I'm not going to ask you. I just was wondering how interested everyone is in this particular topic. So the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator is the most widely used personality typing system, especially in business. Millions of the instruments to type someone are taken each year. In kind of the HR world and the recruiting world, this is the jargon that's kind of used a lot. And it's a very popular system. And it was built on the theories and the research of Carl Jung, the kind of famous protege and kind of modern grandfather of modern psychoanalytic theory. And he worked with Freud for a while, and then said, wait a minute, I've got a couple of my ideas of my own. And Freud said, no, get lost. And they split. He came up with a lot of interesting ideas. And when I read his stuff, and I recommend that everyone read Carl Jung and read his books and just check out his stuff, I marvel because I wonder how it's possible that he could have seen the distinctions that he saw, that he could have understood these differences that we have. Because when you're kind of one type, it's almost impossible to detect that there's another way of seeing things in the world. And to see all these distinctions is really, really amazing. And what he came up with is sets of distinctions that then a woman and her daughter went on to turn